Hi, my name is Dr. Brad Wolf from Innovation Health here in Charlotte, North Carolina. In this video, I want to talk to you about the nature of problems that happen in the neck and how to keep it healthier. So we're going to be looking at some X-rays. I want you to see what it is that I see and give you some examples of what can happen to the neck over time. And I'm going to explain some other things to you as well. So we're going to go ahead and flip this around and take a look and see what we need to look at here as far as the X-rays go. Here we go. Okay. So the first things first, this is a model of the degenerative changes of the spine. The same thing happens in the neck as happens in the lower back. We've talked about this in previous videos. So we're going to take a look at a few X-rays here. These are all, I would say, abnormal X-rays. So again, we're going to be able to compare what we see to this chart here. Now, some unique things about the neck is that the neck supports the brain. Okay, the brain is inside the head, supports the neck. Puts all that pressure on the neck, it starts to break down the nerve connections between the brain and the body. The head is heavy, so we got to hold our head up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up this one here. Okay, and this is our first neck here. So look how forward that neck is there. So when we look at, you can't really even see the shoulder shadow here because we've got this. The shadow to the shoulder is over here. Now, normally the center of the shoulder is going to be about here. If we draw a line straight up, that's about where the ear should be. But instead, the ear is all the way up there. Okay, we've got a little bit of a curve, but not much. It's very straight through the bottom right here. So we want to have there's a natural curve and contour to the spine that we want to maintain over time. And when we lose that, that can really start to impede in the quality of our life. Just FYI, I have these stickies here to cover up, so we cover up the names and we don't violate any HIPAA problems. Anyway, I just want to go ahead and go through these one at a time here. Now here's another one. Look at that neck there. Okay, that is a bit of a mess. Now there's two areas of the spine that are most prone to problems. Okay, the first is down way at the bottom of the spine. We talked about this in a previous video. This is looking at really the mid part of the neck here. Normally the problem is more kind of down in this area right in here. This person must have had an injury or whatnot that affected them in the mid part of the neck. But that starts to look more like these ones down here at the end. We start to see changes, bone spurs, and narrowing of the discs. And over time, this is going to cause severe nerve-related problems and start to shut off the muscles due to compression on those nerves and pain, numbness, tingling, weakness. This is very, very common amongst people having these types of problems. The next one here is right there. Okay, again, we see we've got decent disc spaces here at the top. But at the bottom down here, especially right in here, okay? And you see if my cursor right there, you can see where there's some narrowing in the disc here. That disc there and that disc there, we're starting to see some narrowing in the disc. So oftentimes it looks more like number one here. So phase one, where we see a difference between where the disc is nice and thick here versus where it starts to narrow here. So sometimes it's not a complete destruction of the neck, but it's a wearing down due to the positioning. Now here you can see, we see the shadow of the shoulder here, okay? And if we draw a line straight up the middle here, that's where the ear should be, but that's not where the ear is. The ear is all the way up here. We chronically have this problem with people holding their head too far in front of their body. And so getting your head up over your shoulders is a huge step you can take to preserve your neck, preserve your spine, take care of your nerves, stop irritating those nerves, take pressure off your brain, off the spinal cord, and there we go. Okay, next one here. Look how straight that neck is there, okay? So we look at, again, the shadow of the shoulder, We draw a line straight up. Okay, that ear is in a closer position here, but they have literally no curve. That neck is straight there. And what's happened is, look at those bone spurs that are starting to grow on the front of the neck there. If you have not had an X-ray of your spine, you need to get X-rays of your spine to see where you're at. These problems don't get better on their own. They do get worse over time. So we've got some severe bone spurs here, which looks more like we got bone spurs growing here. We still have space in between the discs, but there's a lot of deterioration going on there. In fact, in some cases, when people have certain problems that are more what we call metabolic oriented, which has to do with your hormones and your blood sugars and your digestion and all your internal biochemistry, it starts to almost look like melting wax. Okay, especially right in there. That's not a good sign. So anyways, a lot of times the problem is just not a physical problem, it's also a biochemical problem too. And so it's very important to know what's going on in the inside of your body, because oftentimes people don't feel these problems. They just come over time, they start to accumulate, and then they reach a point where the body starts talking back to you, and we start to have pain and numbness, tingling, weakness, dizziness, nausea, headaches. There's all sorts of things that can show up here. Okay. And the last one is actually an MRI. Okay. So an MRI, again, we don't just see bones. We see the bones, we see the discs, we see the nerves. And in this particular one, we see that, that we've got some deterioration here in the base of the neck. So we've got 7 bones in the neck. This is number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So between 5, 6, and 6, 7, we've got some disc protrusion there where the disc is swelling and it's putting pressure against the nerve. Just in the same way that we see here, where the disc is starting to squeeze through that space there where the nerve comes out, and we can start putting pressure on those nerves there. So these are some examples of what's going on as far as the spine goes, the images of the neck. And it's very, very important. If you have not had X-rays on your neck, you want to make sure that you have X-rays not only on your neck, but your neck, your mid-back, your lower back, your pelvis. Just like you get X-rays on your teeth, you want to get X-rays of your spine as well. I'm Dr. Brad Wolf. Hope this was helpful for you to be able to see. I want you to avoid these problems in the future. The people that are coming to see me, they're already having problems. And you sometimes you don't know that you have a problem until you actually start to take a look. So sometimes we need to get an X-ray or an MRI, or we need to do evaluation to see what we need to do to preserve your body as well as possible. That's it for now. Have a beautiful day. Thanks so much for watching.